It's a Manchu. Welcome to Minecraft Bedrock versus Java, where I play through both versions of the game and compare the two. Last time I was in my Java world and I built an iron farm. And today I'm in the Bedrock world and I'm going to create an iron farm here. The mechanics for it are completely different, so it's going to require a different design. You can see this map behind me. I didn't really talk about before, but I found a jungle. So I could get cocoa beans and I could dye one of my shulker boxes brown. I went and found a jungle. I had to look it up on Chunk Base, and you can see how far away it is. So this is my home base here. Over here is a really, really far away place that I had to go to get to the stronghold. And the jungle was way over here. Like on this map. This is jungle, this is jungle over here, that's a patch of jungle. It's far away. But I did it just so I could have cocoa beans and I could have brown dye and I could get a brown shulker box. Because it annoyed me that I didn't have a brown shulker box. But anyway, that's besides the point. I'm going to make an iron farm, and I think I want to build it over the middle of the ocean, probably about here. So a little bit to the east of my home base. Close to, maybe not exactly on it, but close to one of the ocean monuments that I rated before. And I have some materials to take with me. A shulker box of assorted stuff, and wool. And more wool, and wool, and wool, and wool, and wool. I have a lot of wool. My sheep farm has been very, very productive. And I figure I'll make the iron farm out of wool. Will it look stupid? Probably. But I'm not going to take too much time to make it look perfect. Or put so much effort into making it look good like I did in the Java Edition world. I just want it to be functional. So let me go out and find a likely spot to place the iron farm. In the Java Edition world, there was this whole gossip mechanic thing. But in Bedrock Edition, it doesn't work that way. There is no such mechanic. Villagers still gather in the middle of the village and grunt at each other like they're trading information, but there's no mechanics going on under the hood there. It's just for show. So the way iron golems spawn in Bedrock Edition is it's based on a simple formula that they will spawn in if there are at least 10 villagers and 20 beds. And there can be one iron golem for every 10 villagers. So if I have 20 villagers and 20 beds, I can have up to 2 iron golems in the village. If I have 30 villagers and 30 beds, I can have up to 3 iron golems in the village. And notice that I said 30 beds. There has to be 1 bed for every villager. If I had, for example, 21 villagers and 20 beds, they would summon in 0 iron golems. None. The most efficient way to do it is to have 20 villagers and 20 beds. Now, in the Java Edition world, iron golems would spawn relative to the villager that summoned them in, because they were panicked. In Bedrock Edition, the iron golem will summon in a position relative to the center of the village. That means it's very important that I control where the center of the village is, and unlike in the Java Edition where I didn't have to worry too much about having the iron farm near an existing village, it is critical that the iron farm in Bedrock Edition can be nowhere near an existing village. I like to, as a rule of thumb, have it be at least 100 blocks away. 64 blocks is probably sufficient, but I think at least 100 blocks. Having said that, there's no requirement that says that the iron farm has to be way up in the air above an ocean. But I do intend to build a general purpose mob farm in Bedrock Edition soon. And that I want to be right next to the iron farm so that I can AFK at the same spot for both farms. And the general purpose mob farm, it will be helpful to have it way up in the air above an ocean. So this isn't for the sake of the iron farm I'm building it way up here, it's for the sake of the general purpose mob farm I want to put right next to it. farms like this, I like to start at the bottom and work my way up. So I'm starting with a base pretty similar to what I did in Java Edition, but there's going to be a small difference. I'm actually going to place campfires, actually soul campfires in this on the very bottom. I'm also going to have a lava blade here, but the soul campfires are here for something else. This farm is going to end up spawning a lot of cats, and the cats are going to fall down into this pit trap. Many of them will be able to fall through the lava blade and end up at the very bottom of the pit, surviving. These campfires will ensure that they don't survive. So this will kill any cats that fall down into the trap. Now, if that seems inhumane to you, well, it is, but I would remind you that this is a mob farm, and mob farms in Minecraft, they're not humane. That's just the way it is. I put out the campfires for now, just so I could work in here without being blinded by smoke. I want to build up here 10 blocks from the bottom, so that's 7 more blocks up. Also, I need a sign here. And on top, the 10th level up, I'll put wool. I didn't really look into how far fire spreads. Wool is highly flammable, but I think it's far enough away from the lava that it's not going to be a problem. Okay. Now the base of this area is going to be very similar to what I did in Java Edition. I want to make a trap with water streams that funnel the iron golems down into this pit. So I want to go out from here 8 blocks. Make me feel safer if I fill that in for now. Okay. There we go. There's the base. Now, the iron farm I built in Java Edition, it was possible because of where the villagers were located, for iron golems to spawn off the edge of the area where the water trap was. It didn't matter in that case because I had a zombie right in the middle of the farm that the iron golem could see. The iron golem would walk toward that zombie to try and attack it and get in the water trap anyway. That's not going to be the case here. I'm not going to have a zombie in the center of the farm. I'm going to have a bunch of beds in the center of the farm. It is possible for the iron golem to spawn a little bit off of this edge, and even if I try to spawn proof it, sometimes they spawn on there. So I'm going to change things up a little bit, and I'm going to actually have water flowing from off here onto this area here. I'm going to build like a ledge about 2 blocks deep to do that. Okay, so 2 of the sides will look like that. I'll have water all along this edge. The other 2 sides, I need to put villagers on the other 2 sides, so I actually need to make the ledges even a little bit deeper. Alright. There's 10 cells there. I'm going to put the 10 villagers into. We'll make 10 cells like that over on this side. It'll be enough for 20 villagers. Now, while I'm at it, the glass box should be spawn proof. And I don't think iron golems will spawn that far out, but I want to put leaf blocks down here to spawn proof the rest of the perimeter wall. Okay, that's all set. Now the next trick is to get the villagers up here. Alright. These should make me a water column that goes down. All the way down to that soul sand at the bottom. And I'll turn them into a bubble column. It occurs to me that I could have done the same thing with, you know, one bucket of water poured at the top and then just plant kelp from the bottom up. I could have done it that way. But no, I gotta be special. I gotta be different. This'll work. Eventually. Almost there. I can see the light at the bottom. There we go. Another thing I should mention about this village. In Java Edition, the villagers had to have slept in the previous day in order for them to summon iron golems. It doesn't work that way at all in Bedrock Edition. Instead, it's true they have to be linked to a bed, but they don't have to have slept in the last day. They have to have worked in a workstation in the last day. Or at least 75% of the villagers in this farm have to have worked in a workstation in the last day in order to summon iron golems. So that means I need regular villagers, not children, not nitwits, because children and nitwits don't work. A regular, everyday, unemployed villager. Let's see if I can coax him into this bubble column. Oh, he's almost there. Come on, buddy. There you go. I'll follow him up there. I see him up there. Hopefully he'll jump right in the minecart. Save me a lot of trouble. He didn't. Oh, shoot. No. I forgot about that. I cannot have him linking to a bed yet. That's not going to work for me. The first bed I place down in this farm is going to become the center of the village. And I have to be very careful where that is. I have to control that very carefully. So I should have gotten rid of the bed before I brought the villager up here. But it's okay. It's fine. Let me just break that. Okay, let's see. Alright, well, I want to get my stuff back, but in addition to that, I want to have this villager floating in water. I don't know how necessary this is in 1.17, but this used to be an issue. Also, that's weird. I didn't think rails could get washed away by water anymore. I thought that changed with this most recent update, but I guess not. Let me torch this place up because I may not be sleeping while I work on getting the villagers in here. And I gotta bring in 20 villagers. It's gonna take me a little while. Yeah, I don't know if this matters in the 1.17 version, but by having them floating in water like this, they'll never unlink from a bed once they link to it. And it may have been fixed so that it's no longer an issue, but just in case it is. No. Go that way. Go that way. Go that way. Get in there. Get in there. Get in there. Yeah. Gotcha. Ah. 18 more.
One eternity later.
Okay, I got all the villagers in place. So the bottom here area is coming along nicely. I want to add a second level, but first I'm going to need to get beds for all these guys. I had been putting water in here so that they wouldn't unlink from the bed once they linked to it. But I was a little concerned about the villager spawner. There was some funky stuff going on there where it almost seems like these guys were still linked to some of the beds in the villager spawner. So I've gone back to that spawner and broken all those beds so there aren't any there. They're at least 200 blocks from that villager spawner laterally and 100 blocks in the air, so it shouldn't be the case. But in any case, I'm a little concerned about this guy too. I took him in the boat close to my home base and he decided to become a butcher. Hopefully, he will decide to become something else, but we'll have to see if that works out. Alright, so now I need to place some beds as the next step. I'm going to build this up 3 blocks. I'm going to make a temporary platform up here. Two blocks out. I'm going to go 2 blocks out from this pit on every side, because the plan is to put beds on top of this scaffolding. I haven't tried to put beds on scaffolding before. I don't know if I can do that or not. Alright, now I'm going to place a bed right here. And there's green particles, so somebody claimed it. That guy claimed it. This is now officially the center of the village. So iron golems are going to spawn relative to the position of this bed. And now I'm going to place 19 more beds, so there's 20 beds. And make sure green particles appear above each one so that they're all claimed. And yes, I can place them on the scaffolding. Alright, every bed's been claimed. Now is the point where I will flood all those guys so that they won't unlink to the beds. I'm not sure that's even an issue anymore, but it might be. It used to be that that was the case, and I don't know if it's been patched or not. I'm not taking any chances, because I need the center of the village to stay where it is now. I cannot have it move. Many people think that the center of the village is always a bell, and that's not at all the case. In fact, if you try to use a bell for the center of this village, it will be a problem, because they might try to pathfind to the bell at a certain time of day, and they won't be able to, and then it will cease to become the center of the village. Okay, that's set. Now they should not unlink from the beds that they're linked to right now. Now, the iron golems will spawn in Bedrock Edition in a 16 by 13... No, sorry. In a 16 by 6 by 16 area centered on the center of the village, which is this bed. So I want to make as much spawnable space for the iron golems as possible. So I have a space like 3 blocks below the center of the village. I'm going to put another space right above the center of the village. I'm going to build a platform up here that looks a lot like the one down below. There we go. Now to top it all off on the outer edges, I want to put something to spawn-proof this. You could use slabs. You could use glass blocks. I prefer to use leaves. For one thing, it's easy to harvest leaves in large quantities. For another thing, it actually surprisingly goes with the color palette that I've chosen for this build. And believe me, that's purely coincidental. But a happy coincidence. Okay. Now to flood this area. This will be much easier than schlepping buckets back and forth. Well, I might not have enough ice for the bottom level, but I got enough for the top. Oh. I guess this platform's going to give me fish, too. Cool. Alright, now I just break all of the scaffolding. Break these temporary blocks. Okay. I'm almost there. Just a couple more things I have to do. The next thing I do is going to get this iron farm operational. So let me check off all the criteria. There has to be at least 10 villagers and 20 beds. And there will be up to 1 iron golem per 10 villagers. So I have 20 villagers and 20 beds. That's good. Check that off. I can't have more villagers than beds. I have 20 beds, 20 villagers, 1 bed for every villager. They're all linked to it. Check. Now the villagers don't have to have slept in the bed in the last day like they have in Java Edition, but they have to have worked at a workstation in the last day, or at least 75% of them have to have worked at a workstation in the last day. So, I need to give them workstations. I have looms. For one thing, looms are easy to make. I need string and I need wood to make them. I have plenty of both, so that's one reason to use looms. Another is, considering what I built this iron farm out of, I think it's an appropriate workstation. So I'm going to put one of these down, and one of these villagers will claim it. I put it down. Somebody claimed it. That guy over there. So that's the guy that's going to claim the first workstation. Let me mark him. That's the guy. Now I'm going to break this loom and move it over to this villager. And he claimed it again. Perfect. Now let's place down another one. That guy over there claimed it. Let's mark him. Don't want to forget which guy it is. And walk over here. Place the loom. And he claimed it. Give these buttons too. Okay. And I just repeat this process until they've all claimed a workstation. And hopefully that butcher will claim one of them and become a shepherd instead. As I said, the rule is that 75% of the villagers have to have worked at a workstation. So if I have one deadbeat villager who's like, no, I want to be a butcher, darn it. And I want to use that workstation that's 300 blocks away. It shouldn't break the farm. I hope. He's the guy. He's the butcher. Yes! Okay. Thank goodness. And the last one's going to go there. I needn't even worry. It's there. There you go. Alright. Now I've met the criteria for iron golems to spawn, except that I don't think they've actually used the workstations yet. But the sun's about to come up. They will start using it. I need to flood this lower area. Unfortunately, I can't open this up yet because I might need the water. You know, they're working at the workstations. I think an iron golem just showed up. Yep. Now, you might wonder why I don't try and save ice. Just place it at the other block, right? That should work. No. Maybe in Java Edition that works. Okay, the pit's open. Now, Let's break what ice blocks here haven't melted yet. Okay. Now I have one more issue to deal with, and that's the cats. They're going to be falling down in there. And uh-oh. Oh, looks like I got a dry spot. Hang on. I think my problem is this bubble column. I was thinking I wouldn't have to do anything with it, but maybe I do. There we go. Okay. That fixed it. Now let's go down and find a solution for the cats. Oh. I must have had a brain fart or something. I could have sworn I put out those campfires. I must have lit them again. I know I put them out. Oh man, I'm just getting senile or something. I thought I put those fires out, but they're on. And that's fine that they're on. That's great. So this thing is operational. Let's see. I'm getting the occasional fish as well. And fish come with bones. And they will be cooked fish. Which is too bad, because cooked fish is not a trade item. I always feel a little unsafe AFKing, like, without any walls around me, but this should be a safe spot. I use leaf blocks for this platform, so nothing can spawn on them. And it's not really big enough anyway for anything to spawn, because no hostile mobs will spawn within 23 blocks of me. So now all I have to do is wait. I can sit around here for maybe an hour and see what I get out of an hour of AFK. Okay, it's been actually about 2.5 hours AFK. I did a little bit of editing work and now I've come back to it. A couple of things. First of all, I wasn't going crazy. I did put out those campfires. They relit themselves. It's a Bedrock only feature. As far as I know, this doesn't work in Java Edition. If a mob is on fire and it walks across an unlit campfire, it will light the campfire. I moved the signs down by a block because I was afraid the lava blade wasn't actually hitting the iron golems. And in the process of doing that, I had to put out the campfires. And a cat fell through the lava and was, of course, on fire. And lit the soul campfires because it was on fire and walking across the campfires. So that's why when I came down here, the campfires were relit. I wasn't going crazy. I don't think that works that way in Java Edition. It's difficult to be objective in comparing the drop rates between the Java Edition farm and the Bedrock Edition farm. These are not the only designs for the different versions of Minecraft, so these may not even be the most efficient designs for each type. I don't know. It's difficult to be objective. But anyway, in 2.5 hours, this is what I got. Let me organize this a little better so that it like makes sense. Okay, so I've organized it a little better here. 14 stacks of iron plus a bunch of cooked cod and salmon and bones and more than a stack and a half of string, RIP cats, and a raw cod, I don't know how that got through, and a bunch of poppies. So the cooked fish, I'm not sure what I'm going to be able to do with that. I don't really need it as a food source right now. The poppies, if nothing else, I can compost that. And I always have use for string. I can always sell it, for that matter, for emeralds. So, lots of good drops from this. It's very useful. Now, you could argue that iron farms aren't really even worth bothering with anymore, because with the 1.17 update and the ability to use a pick with fortune enchantment on iron ore, you get 2.5 times as much ore as you normally would from mining. I'm not really short of iron right now in either Bedrock Edition or Java Edition worlds. But as I build more farms, I'm going to be happy to have a nice reliable source of iron. And so between this video and the last one, I've built an iron farm in both versions of Minecraft. If you liked what you saw, click on the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to my channel. Next time I'll move on to building some other kind of farm. I don't know, it depends on how ambitious I want to be, how complex of a farm I'm going to do next time, but it'll be some kind of farm, a blaze farm, general mob farm, a gold farm. I don't know. I'll figure that out, and I'll build a version of that farm in both versions of Minecraft. next time on Amon Chooses Minecraft, Java versus Bedrock.